Today's podcast is brought to you by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. You never know what tomorrow may bring. That's why it's important to get the right insurance coverage today. At Kentucky Farm Bureau, we deliver the protection and peace of mind your family deserves. In fact, we've been providing folks in the bluegrass with dependable service since 1943. To request a free quote, find your local KFB insurance agent at mykfbagent.com. Kentucky Farm Bureau, big on commitment. This is the March 2024 edition of Down the Backroads. I'm Tim Thornberry, editor of the Kentucky Farm Bureau News. May we all take note of the beauty around us. I'm very fortunate to travel as much as I do as part of my job, and not just around our beautiful state, but the different locations across the country. While most of these trips are work-related, it's exciting to visit new places and see new sights. However, a recent trip that took me across the country will be one I will not soon forget for many reasons. Occasionally, my wife will travel with me, as she did on this particular trip, as we flew to Utah for a national convention. While there was work to do at the convention, we discovered how beautiful this part of the country is. Unfortunately, we both became ill while on the trip, so much so that when the day came to return home, we were too sick to fly. That left us with two options: stay until we felt better, or rent a car and drive the 1,600 plus miles home. We chose the second option. To say it was a big adventure may be a bit of an understatement, and the first few hours felt as though we were driving on a treadmill, going along at a steady pace, but not seeming to get anywhere. But I tried to remain positive and focus on our goal of getting home. Somewhere along the way, I began to notice the landscape around me. I started taking note of how beautiful this region is. I realized I was seeing sights I'd only seen in books up to this point. Felt like a kid again, witnessing one amazing view after another. From the foothills of the Rockies in western Wyoming to the Great Plains regions near Cheyenne and into Nebraska. For the first time, I saw wild horses grazing near the highway and their mule deer neighbors. I saw rock formations that jumped off the pages of travel magazines in full view as we traveled. We experienced long stretches of highway with scenic vistas on both sides that seemed to go on forever. The cattle ranches seemed too big to imagine as we made our way closer and closer to home. These are all sights I may have never seen had it not been for our unfortunate turn of events. We found ourselves making the best of the situation and found between the coughs and the sneezes a certain amount of enjoyment with our travels. However, it was great to get back home to rest and recover. Having made this journey made me realize a few things. There is so much of this beautiful country I haven't seen yet, and now I have the urge to travel more of it. This trip also made me appreciate home a lot more. We may not have the Rockies, but our eastern mountains are just as scenic to me. We may not have ranches that encompass tens of thousands of acres, but the farms we have are the best in the world. And while we may not have the same terrain as I saw along Interstate 80 out west, nothing was more beautiful than Interstate 64 that led to my front door. May we all take note of the beauty around us, even in the toughest of situations. But I hope we can all appreciate the wonderment found in our own backyards as we travel down the back roads.